All right. Welcome to episode 99 of the Balance Period podcast. I'm really excited about the fact that that's episode 99. Like,
That's
we've
why I
been
said
a very
80.
long way. So, welcome. I am one of your hosts, Recovery Ray.
And, as always, pranayanic.
Yeah,
All right,
RyColeFit.
so no, you good. We got RyColeFit in the building with us today. I'm very excited to have him on. We're taking the podcast back to basics, so the layout of what you all hear today is going to be very similar to the origins of the Balance Period podcast, which the podcast was designed as a platform for myself and anyone who was willing to share their stories of self-observation and self-actualization, to be able to articulate their growth so that anybody listening can ultimately have a blueprint to help guide them through the process of becoming more self-aware and becoming the person that they want to be ultimately. So I'm grateful to have Ryan on. I met Ryan over the summer. Shout out to Nick for connecting us. And it's been a pleasure. He's been one of the hardest working men that I have ever known. Definitely an inspiration just to be in his presence. He owns his gym, RyColeFit, and I'm grateful to have had the opportunity to work out with him and to watch his growth from just then until now. So I'm excited to have him on so that he can kind of give everyone a deeper dive into who he is and how he's gotten to where he is today. So Ryan, thank you for being with us today, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. This is huge. You guys have been major on my journey. It all started with episode awareness. I actually was, and that's what really got me keyed in with Balance Period. And you guys have both served as mentors of mine. So to be in the space where we're working in a partnership, it's just amazing. So I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, and on that partnership, just for everyone listening, Ryan is one of the contributors to Balance Period. So he offers up content that's curated for our community, and it is something that you can get access to once you become a member on our Patreon page. So if you're ever interested, especially after listening to this episode, you will be able to get curated content from Ryan himself directly into your inbox on a weekly basis. So definitely keep a lookout for that. All right. So let's go ahead. Let's get into the episode for today. So Ryan, go ahead and give our listeners a little bit more background of who you are and what you do.
Okay. So as Ray had mentioned earlier, I am a gym owner and a personal trainer currently, and I kind of adapted a new title, which is spiritual influencer. I'm actually currently working on my life coach certification as well, as I kind of had a whole little revelations back in 2020. And, everybody knows me for fitness. Everybody knows me to be the guy that's in really good shape, that's helping other people get to the place that they want to get from a physical standpoint. But in 2021, I wanted to bring in a new energy, and I wanted to start showing people more of my feminine side. Because, a lot of times in society, it's especially as men, we're very masculine, and we're not very vulnerable at all. So this was I feel like I put out a very masculine side with the physical fitness. So then I just kind of wanted to switch it up more with the life coaching, spiritual influencing, and just kind of helping everybody that I come across cultivate the changes they need in their life in the sense of mind, body, and spirit.
Yeah, that's awesome, bro. That's awesome. So let's go ahead and take it back. You talked about a few things. You talked about vulnerability, and you talked about spiritual influence. So let's go ahead. Let's take it back to this time last year. So if you can recall, around February of 2020, what was going on in your life?
Man, that's crazy. So this time last year, I actually wasn't even a business owner. I had just left my salary job. I was working full-time National Guard, and with that it came a lot of what ifs. What am I gonna do? I so happened to stumble across the opportunity to sublease a gym, which is where I began my fitness journey. And then from there, it started with a bunch of different habits, and whether it's meditation, listening to podcasts, reading, all this and that that kind of helped me get to the place that I am now. But within that, it's been a long journey, you know, and I tell people every day that patience is one of the biggest things, because, you know, looking back now from a whole year ago, like, I never would have saw myself being in this very position that I am in today. But through practicing habits and, you know, just focusing on self-awareness, more importantly, I've just been able to overcome all my obstacles and, you know, get myself in tune from a mental standpoint, which has helped me to elevate even further.
Wow. Yeah, bro, that's a lot. Like, in a year's time to go from not owning a business to being a full-fledged business owner. Can you talk a little bit more about that process? Like, what caused you to say, hey, I no longer want to work in this job. I'm going to go out and take a risk, because it is a risk to leave that stability of a corporate job to then being your own boss and being your own business. What was that process like?
So starting back in 2019, I told myself in 2019 that I would never be an employee again come 2020. It just so happened to work out at the top of the year, January 31st, that we found out we were getting laid off, and I had one or two options: to either continue and look for jobs, or to follow my word, in which I said that I'll never be an employee again. So with that, I took that leap of faith, and, you know, I'm one of the type of guys that's like, once I'm in, I'm 100% in. There's no going back, no matter how hard it gets. And it did get hard, because we got hit with a virus, a pandemic, a global pandemic, which shut down gyms for I was shut down for about 2 months. You know, this is not being able to make money, not being able to do anything but sit and drown in my sorrows and my emotions. And, you know, that led to me getting into a very dark place, probably the lowest spot I've ever been in my life. And, you know, that's when I knew things had to change. And I had picked up habits such as meditation, like, back in 2019, but I hadn't really practiced them on a consistent basis. So meditation was one of the first things I started keying on back in 2020 to really just kind of help me get out of that dark place. And then a huge step, again, like I said, was finding the Balance Period podcast. And it was self-efficacy. I can't even get the term out. But that particular episode, man, it was just like, oh man, like, it really got me to really get to know you guys from two different perspectives. And, you know, you guys had a huge part in, you know, me getting myself together with picking up all these different habits, such as reading, focusing on getting better quality of sleep, you know, learning new things, you know, just kind of keeping the mind busy in a productive way and not allowing the subconscious to kind of take over and just go everywhere. So through those habits, through consistently practicing those habits, that was kind of what was able to get me out of that dark place, and get me ready to hit the ground rolling once we got out of the whole quarantine and all that. And once we got out of quarantine, you know, I was ready to go full pledge. Unfortunately, I was in a situation at that other gym that it just didn't work out, and it put me in another tough situation, you know, a situation where I essentially had to open a gym of my own within a span of 2 weeks. Now, granted, I had already been working on a new leasing opportunity anyway, but it just so happened the literal same day that the contract ended at the previous location, I got the lease sent in to say, like, hey, you're ready to move in, you're ready to go. You got 2 weeks. So with that, I had been collecting gym equipment because I knew one day that I was going to open a gym. That was just something that I was persistent about. But there was quite a lot of stuff that I didn't have, you know, and I spent 2 weeks, you know, going hard, scrambling, GoFundMe's, any type of funding I could possibly get to really, you know, make this come to life. And it all seemed to work out perfectly, you know, and it's a blessing from that aspect. And I definitely owe it to the people, you know, because all my clients were a part of that process. I've got several donations from previous clients, you know, and this was just from the fact that they were sold into a vision, you know, and they were sold in on who I was as a person, and they just loved me and they wanted to see me prosper in that sense.
That's awesome, bro. Can
Love
you
it.
actually, because I was there around that time. I remember you kind of went MIA for like 2 weeks, and then the next thing I knew, you had your own gym, and I was like, whoa, like what happened? So can you go back? I know that it was tough, right? I know that it was a bit of struggle going on in that process of change and transition. But can you talk about the mindset that you maintained throughout that time? Because I know from talking with you the value of the mindset that you had. So can you elaborate more on the mindset that you maintained?
Man, yeah, it was definitely 100% mindset, and it all started from the sense that I had this vision, and I would sit literally in the bathtub every single day, and I would sit and meditate on this vision of what I had this gym and what I imagined it looking like. And it was like day by day, I would just get more and more bits and pieces of like everything coming together. And so with me having that vision, I was never really stressed about anything. Like and you said that I disappeared. Like I did completely kind of disappear. I was still posting, a little motivation workout videos, but I completely stopped training and all that. And there was people asking questions, but I'm one to always want to move in silence. So I didn't want to jinx myself in the sense of something comes up and I'm posting about it and then it just ends up not working out. So during that 2-week period, I told myself I was going to silence all the outside noise. Only close friends and family knew what was going on. I'm going to say again and emphasize, silence the outside noise. Because there was a ton of people who said that this wasn't going to happen, that this couldn't happen, that nobody can make this happen. Maybe I should choose to go a different route, and if I would have went along and listened to what everybody else was saying, like I wouldn't be where I am today. So follow your own intuition and follow your gut, and don't let the words of nobody else deter you for what you're destined for and what you want to go do. But yeah, again, mindset, 100%. Like I just couldn't. So I knew that if I was to worry myself, it would be out of my control. So I'm like, what am I going to worry myself? If everything is meant to happen the way that it's supposed to happen, then it is. And, literally all the way to the down to the 2 days, I probably needed about $2,000 in 2 days. And I never stressed about it. And next thing you know, like literally the day before I need this money, the money has arrived. And it was just like, at this point, it was all within, like I had manifested this years ago and it was all going to come. The biggest thing that I had to do was just sit back and, keep my mind clear through meditation. And meditation was probably the biggest thing throughout this time. Also reading and all this and that. But keeping my mind clear and just knowing that what's meant for me is going to come.
Bro, that's powerful. I think one of the things that you just mentioned we should definitely highlight, but the fact that you said you manifested it years ago, like you knew it was coming, and all you had to do in that moment was allow it to come into your reality. And most times when we spend our times worrying, we throw up resistance to that abundance that is for us, that we have put out in the universe, that we want. We have desire for it. But instead of allowing it to come in, we cloud our mind with worry, and we are not maintaining that mindful perspective that allows us to still be at peace in the midst of chaos all around us. And by doing so, when you needed it, everything you needed was right there.
Yep.
And now you are where you are today. So that's amazing. That's amazing. I appreciate you sharing that with us, bro.
Yes, sir.
I was going to jump in and talk about one aspect that he didn't really talk about, but I heard it throughout what he was saying, and it's that he became his own anchor. Like he realized that within his journey that he has a vision, that nobody else has this vision, and that he needs to quiet all the outside noise, no matter what that is. And that by trusting in that one inside of himself and in that knowing, that all was able to come to pass. And that's in itself is just so powerful to me, because it's, you did that all yourself inside of yourself. And then that what you created inside of you has then reflected outside of you. Now, forget about the time aspect of it, but it eventually created itself outside of you. And each and every one of us can do that at any time.
Yeah, and that honestly, that really stemmed from a fact of, some words that you had told me after a discussion I had with somebody else about, a potential location of the gym, and it wasn't necessarily where I wanted to be, but this person thought that this location may be the best. And you told me, you were like, always be willing to listen to what others have to say, but take it with a grain of salt, because not all of it is going to apply to you. You may be able to take out bits and pieces of what this person is telling you, but at the end of the day, they don't know your full story and they can't see your vision. So you always have to take that information with a grain of salt.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Now I remember
sure.
that. And
Go ahead. No, I was just gonna throw out a quick plug. We actually talked about that in the Balance Period newsletter. The concept was, who do you listen to? One of the things was to consider the source of where you get your information, especially if you're planning on getting advice from someone. It is valuable that you pause and consider that source, because that person doesn't spend as much time thinking about your vision as they do thinking about theirs. And sometimes people may tell you things that are more aligned with what they might want to see than what's actually best for us. So it's important that we consider the source. So that was just a shameless plug. Go ahead, Nick.
No, that was it. I was going to say pretty much the exact same thing. So no, we're good.
No.
That's perfect.
Perfect. All right, bro. So that was like summer, right? That was now kind of going into fall. So after you kind of transition from working for someone else to now working for yourself to now having your own gym space. Talk a little bit more about your process of growth from when you kind of you were on your feet, you were going, until now. So kind of how do you go about the process of continuing to build what it is that you are envisioning and see for your life?
So I like to compare it. It was like when I was back in the old location, I had told one of my buddies, I consider myself to be a shark in the fish tank. And as soon as I was able to reach the ocean, I was going to be able, like, the world was mine, And I think having the realization that I'm doing my own thing, I have my own business, and I can make this business look however I want it to look, that really kind of opened it up to me putting myself within the brand, and that's what made me kind of realize that, like, okay, fitness was the foundation, right? Now we have other ways that we need to keep expanding and growing and seeing how we can continue to add value to people in other senses. Because at the end of the day, as a business owner, my biggest thing is to be able to, walk in my purpose, and also to help change lives and add value on a daily basis. So I'm constantly looking for new ways to, make my clients' experience even better, and also just looking for different ways that I can add influence and value to the world as a whole. One term that, first and foremost, I'm gonna shout out Anthony Murdoch, because he was huge on me building my plan going into 2021, and with me sitting down with him and putting all these different things together, it really gave me a vision, and a written vision, which is something I had never had before. And with having that written vision and all these different steps and things that I need to do, the only thing I had to do at that point was execute. So the only thing that I've been doing up to now is just continuing to execute on how I want to build my brand. A term that I use and say that I'm looking to get is omnipresent, in the sense that I can be a little bit more hands off with the gym, and more or less be more of a social figure on social media, and spiritual influencer, which is the new term I recently adopted.
That's fire, bro. That's fire.
And really just, add value and influence millions, and that's a platform that I do see myself on, is just being able to, impact the mass in a large way that's going to add value to everybody.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and I appreciate you shouting out Murdoch, because like what we were talking about, who we listen to matters. And the fact that you are willing to invest into wise counsel to help you prepare and to continue to learn and grow so that you can deliver on what it is that you feel like is your purpose and what you want to contribute to your members is huge. I feel like there was so much in my life, I know personally, that I didn't think about investing in myself in that way. I would think about books. I would think about maybe online courses, but never like, let me literally get, in this case, like a coach. Let me get someone to coach me through the process of executing on what I want to execute right now. And because we have also been working with him, I'm telling everyone it is so valuable. You can get so much more accomplished if you have someone that is able to guide you step by step through the process of anything. So shout out to Murdoch. And yeah, I appreciate you bringing him up.
Yeah, man, 100%, you know, and that's something that I had never experienced. I had never experienced sitting down with somebody who essentially was just gathering all the information that I was telling him, and in his computer mind that he has up there, you know, he broke down, he analyzed everything that I was saying. He let me know what made sense, what didn't really make sense in his opinion, and, you know, we came up with a whole plan, you know, going into 2021 ready to attack. So anybody who may be wanting to start a business or already have a business going, but you feel like you're kind of stuck and you need a little bit of push to get going, I definitely would recommend his services for the sole fact that, you know, it's going to help you build your empire, and it's going to help you see things that you just wouldn't be able to see on your own from an outside perspective.
Yeah, I would say a big thing with it is that what I like about it a lot is he's not somebody who's going to tell you what to do. He's going to guide you in what you already know and guide you in the aspect that you want to actually go in. Just ask you questions along the way, which is my favorite way to get things done, is through questioning what we do. So, no, I greatly appreciate what he does.
Yeah, shout out to Murdoch. We definitely got to have him on. We got to have
we'll get him
him on here for sure.
We'll get him on.
All right, bro. So, thank you. We appreciate you sharing that journey. I'm sitting back here, I'm like, man, this is good. Like, just hearing it is awesome. So we appreciate it. Now, what I want for you to do, I know you kind of talked about some of the habits that you practiced to get you from where you are to where you are now. Can you offer up one in particular and kind of go a little bit in depth into the habit that you offer for our listeners? What we help people do on the business side is cultivate simple, sustainable self-care habits, so that they can recognize the full worth of their lives and truly appreciate what they have. So can you dive deeper into one of the habits that you found the most value in over the last year?
So I would say the most valuable overall is going to be meditation, but I spoke a lot about meditation, so I'm going to get into another one that has really helped me, and that has been to just really keep learning and always have the willingness to learn, you know, whether that's reading books, whether that's reading articles, even to my Instagram page. I only follow accounts that are going to provide education to me and, you know, add knowledge and value. And that's just constantly what I've been flooding my mind with. And on top of that, it's like, your subconscious mind just soaks it in, you know, like an internal processor. So I would definitely say, always maintain the willingness to learn and keep looking for ways to continue your education, because at the end of the day, we don't know shit, and, you know, there's always room to know more. So
I like
Facts. I agree.
I'm gonna add that into mine. I'm gonna add that in. I'm gonna add that in. I like it.
Awesome. Nick, is there anything else that you wanna ask Ryan?
Not at all. I just appreciate Ryan for being exactly what he's talking about, because I know that him and I had a bunch of conversation when we met again, which was around February, I believe, at the health spot, and he was just open to the stuff that I had talked to him about, and then him sharing his story with me, it was just one of those learn and grow relationships that we were both able to pour into each other, and to see where we're at now a year later, which I was working behind the desk at a supplement shop, and now I'm running a business with Raymond, and now Ryan's doing his thing too. So it's just seeing those around you do that. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, and that's crazy in the sense too also that, you know, it started off with me just going in the health spot, you know, and it started off with shorter conversations, and then it started off with me staying in there for about 20, 30 minutes. Then next thing you know, I'm in there for an hour talking to him, you know, when I'm just going in there to buy supplements. But it's just because of, like, my brain was soaking in all this knowledge he was dropping, and I'm big on asking questions. So, like, once I realized, like, the knowledge that he had, I just kept asking questions, and I would funnel people in there to do the same thing to him, because, you know, at the end of the day, he was adding a ton of value to me. You know, he even got me going down a couple rabbit holes during the pandemic with all the conspiracies and all that. But, you know, it's always worth, you know, digging a little bit deeper, you know, and, you know, especially finding your truth. You know, if I was to leave you guys with one bit of advice, it will be to indulge in self-care. That is the biggest thing, and that's the current trend that I'm on now, and that has been what has really been able to kind of open me up to more of my feminine side, and being able to accept that we have both masculine and feminine energy, and that's the energy that I want to put out to the earth, because I want to be a balance between both, not more overbearing on one side, you know. So take time, indulge in that journey, you know, do the shadow work. It's not easy by any means, but the better you get to know yourself, the better you'll be to this world.
Definitely.
Facts. And that's what we're here for. That journey, like he said, is not an easy journey. It's a simple journey, though. And so if something's not easy but it's simple, let's say like a bench press, if you have a spotter, best believe you're going to be able to lift a little bit more weight when you got someone there to spot you. That's what Balance Period is here for. So definitely tap into what we offer, because we can help you through that process of identifying the person you want to be and then making the necessary changes in order for you to become that person each and every day. All right. Well, thank you, Ryan. I want to give you the floor just to go ahead and share with everyone how they can get in tune with the work that you do.
So first and foremost, you can follow me at at RyColeFit on Instagram. That's where the majority of my content is. You can go in my bio and find my link tree, which will lead you to my YouTube, the Balance Period, workshops, and all that good stuff as well. But as of now, Instagram is my primary hub. And if you do want to find me at my physical location, that is 5335 North Tacoma Avenue, or you can just Google RyColeFit and it'll take you right there.
Boss. Well, yeah, bro. Thank you again for being on with us today. For everyone listening, if there was anything that you heard of value in today's episode, there's a couple things that we ask you to do with what you learned. One, implement it into your life. Try something new, shake it up a little bit, and continue to learn, continue to grow, and be the best version of yourself each and every day. The second thing that we want you to do is to share it. If there's something that you felt like add value to you, I guarantee there's someone in your life that it can also add value to. So don't be afraid to share the link and continue to share what you want to see more of for 2021 and beyond.
Facts.
All right, Nick, is there anything you want to leave the people with?
Actually, yeah. So I just want to bring the people's attention back to what Raymond said a little bit earlier and the phrasing that he used to describe the direction that Balance Periods is going. I actually can't repeat it because I was waiting so long to say it, so I can't repeat it, but I did want to bring attention to it. So if you go back like 2 minutes, you'll hear it. But I'm just really excited for everything that we have in store for the three of us and just all the people that we know. And I'm looking forward to seeing everybody grow who becomes a part of Balance Period or who just comes in contact with it.
Facts.
I second that, and I tell everybody that I come across. It started off as a joke, but now it's something that's more of a reality. I was like, balance between working with Balance Period and myself. Them guys are gonna make me a millionaire, and that's something that I constantly told people, and that's something that I constantly tell people to this day. Because I understand and see the value in this platform, and it's going to do nothing but continue to expand because there's not many others like it, especially led by black males. So I applaud you guys on that, and just keep doing what you're doing and just keep elevating, guys, because the people are catching on for real.
Appreciate
Facts,
it,
man.
brother.
We appreciate you, bro. And just for everyone listening, just know this is only the beginning.
Man.
Just remember that this is only the beginning. We got a lot more to do for y'all. So, All right, man. Thank you all once again for listening. And we look forward to seeing you all back here next week, same time, same place. Have a great rest of your weekends. Peace.
Later.
Dope.